More than 200 alleged Venezuelan gang members arrived in El Salvador on Sunday after being deported from the U.S., the Salvadoran president said. Video released by the El Salvador government shows them being taken to the terrorism confinement center.
Welcome to Pegasus versus the World, where we take on challenges, comedy, trending topics, and some travel.
City boy! City boy!
All right, you guys, as all that I know is I believe this footage came out last night. Now, people were thinking, I thought it was us taking the footage, but it's not. It's El Salvador, which if I had to guess, they're making an example, right? El Salvador has really cleaned up. I don't know if they built these huge prisons or like added to them, but they just started locking up every gang member. And from what I've read, it's one of the safest places. El Salvador, I believe, is one of the safer places in Latin America. But we'll get into that. But yeah, man, this just dropped last night. I was going to pull up ChatGPT. Actually, has El Salvador's safety increased since the mass incarceration of gang members recently? ? Let's see what ChatGPT says. Sometimes ChatGPT is kind of woke. It's kind of funny, actually. All right, let's see what it's saying. Can I pick this? Can I pick this one? Why not? Response 1. Yes, El Salvador has experienced a significant increase in safety following the mass incarceration of gang members in recent years. The country's homicide rate has plummeted from 105 per 100,000 people in 2015 to 1.9 per 100,000 people, making it a 98% decrease over 9 years. In 2023 alone, the murder rates fell by 70% as the government intensified its crackdown on gangs. This dramatic reduction in violence has led to notable changes such as the return of U.S. Peace Corps volunteers to El Salvador for the first time since 2016, indicating improved security conditions. However, these measures have raised concerns among human rights organizations. Reports indicate that over 75,000 suspected gang members have been arrested under a state of emergency that suspends certain constitutional rights, with more than 5,000 alleged abuses and 190 death reports. Okay, got it. Now, I understand what they're saying, but there's multiple things there. Because essentially by locking up all the gang members or people affiliated with gangs, they have totally changed the landscape of where they live. You hear those numbers I just read to you? Think about that. Now, unfortunately, we do know there's going to be some innocent people in there, or alleged innocent, maybe they were involved in something but shouldn't be in prison for it. And it's just one of those things where for extreme change, sometimes you need for extreme results, you need extreme change, right? And that's what we're seeing here. Anyways, I thought this was crazy because I started seeing this on Instagram last night. I was like, I'm talking about this tomorrow. And these videos is literally like, this is like 4K, 8K, like movie videos. This looks like a documentary's happening. And this is because they're making an example of them. I think it's interesting, Reuters. I'm watching this from Reuters channel because I told you guys I'm trying to be as fair as possible. I watch Fox, I watch Reuters, I watch independent stuff. So they're a little more left-leaning. U.S. deports alleged Venezuelan gang members to El Salvador. I think it's funny that they put alleged in there. Again, maybe there's a couple innocent people in there, or people are just associated with gangs. But let's watch this clip. It's only a minute long. This is what American people really did vote for, and we're happy to see this. And, the more the news props this up as like an inhumane thing or whatever they're trying to do, watch all the people in this video. They're all military-age men, working men who could work. You don't see no children. You don't see no women in here. So just remember that as you're watching it. It's just funny the spin-offs that mainstream media try to do about this. And we think about this. I don't know the percentage, but you got to think there's the way they're capturing these criminals and with facial recognition and stuff like that. And a lot of these people are in sanctuary cities committing crimes, and then the sanctuary city lets them go back into the public to commit more crimes, some of the heinous stuff. So these are legit, there's probably 90% of these MFers are on some bullshit for real. And people for the 5%, the 10%, oh, this is so inhumane. It's bro, they got to get the F out of here, man. This is crazy. And my thing is, I'm personally just if you ain't from here and you're here illegally, boom, bye, goodbye. And you got to remember, one of the main reasons this is happening is not because Americans hate migrant, not because they're brown. Anyone who's illegal can get it. It's because the American government put illegal immigrants, before the American people. And the American people stood up and said, F you. That's just the fact, man. Illegal migrants under the Joe Biden administration were basically told to come here, no big deal. And then you can go to the sanctuary city. You can get a ride to the sanctuary city. You can get free health care. You can get a cell phone. You can get put up in luxury hotels. While impoverished communities in America don't get a wink of that. While someone like me is paying the bill through my taxes for that nonsense. So, holla, let's go.
More than 200 alleged Venezuelan gang members arrived in El Salvador on Sunday after being deported from the U.S., the Salvadoran president said. Video released by the El Salvador government shows them being taken to the Terrorism Confinement Center, a mega prison that can hold up to 40,000 inmates. U.S. President Donald Trump invoked the 1798 Alien Enemies Act on Friday to rapidly deport the alleged members. A day later, a federal judge blocked the application of the law for 14 days, saying the statute refers to, quote, hostile acts perpetrated by another country that are commensurate to war. The Trump administration has appealed the ruling. Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro's government said it rejected the use of the anachronistic U.S. law to deport alleged gang members, saying it violated migrants' rights. The deported are allegedly part of Tren de Aragua, a criminal organization that's been linked to kidnapping, extortion, organized crime, and contract killings.
Bruh. And that's the other thing I read. I just read that at the beginning about how safe El Salvador is because they're locking these fools up. And it's just, it makes you wonder why the Biden administration said it was basically just, they undid all of the border stuff. You know what? I want to play this too. I brought this up because I thought this was unique. I didn't know this. This dude's treated as the boogeyman. He's treated super like he's evil. He's, racist, all this different stuff. Tom Homan from the Border Czar. I think he's lit. Personally, I'm like, yeah, get these MFers the F out of here, especially all the criminals, man. Get them the F out, and let's get back to business, man. We're going to need migrants to help with some of the work out here. There's just a bunch of different things, but I don't think people realize, you know what I don't think? I don't think the black community realizes how immigration affects them specifically. They're tripping. I went over that in a video, and I was literally the black population, and this is because of multiple factors, but from the 1950s to now has went from 10% to 13%. The 1950s, the Hispanic population has risen from 2% to 22%. It's something crazy like that. And I was like, yo, what the Now, there is nuance there. Black population is more affected by abortion, more affected by, gang violence, there's just a bunch of different things, attacks going on in that community that's, holding that whole situation back. But with Latins, it's the migration that catapults them so far. And you just got to think, as a voting block, if you want power, what's your vote strategically? It's just funny how, and I'm black and Mexican, so I'm trying to see it from both sides. But look, man, this year it was just a red pill for everyone when they just started giving people free health care and American citizens don't even get free health care. That's crazy. Anyways, I wanted the beginning of this to play the beginning of this. This is a dope interview by Stephen A. Smith. And Stephen A. Smith is low-key getting red pilled, y'all. Like straight up. Like it's just, the nonsense has just ran rampant for so long. So
Stephen A. Smith Show. My next guest has spent more than 4 decades monitoring America's border.
See, I didn't know all that. Like, I knew he was a beast. I knew he had accolades. I knew he had a history. But like, listen to this, and most of y'all, if you know, but I didn't. So this was like, I was like, God dang.
Stephen A. Smith Show. My next guest has spent more than 4 decades monitoring America's border. He joined the United States Border Patrol in 1984. In 2013, he was appointed by then President Barack Obama as Immigration and Customs Enforcement's Executive Associate Director. He was charged with enforcement and removal operations under that administration. Then in 2017, he was appointed as the acting director of ICE by then President Donald Trump. However, he subsequently retired from the position in 2018. Now he's back with President Trump in this new administration as the border czar. Please welcome to the Stephen A. Smith Show, Mr. Tom Homan. Mr. Homan, how are you, sir? How's everything?
Hold on real quick. I have a question for a word what is a Manchurian candidate? A Manchurian candidate refers to someone who has been brainwashed or manipulated, often by an enemy power, to act against their own country or interest, usually without realizing it. The term comes from the 1959 novel Manchurian Candidate. All right, I'm just going to say it, man, because I was going to say that, but I was like, let me make sure that's what it means. Bro, I really starting to think Joe Biden was a Manchurian candidate, straight up, and when you start thinking in that premise, like, so I'm not going to go deep into the J6 stuff, but we know it was infiltrated by intelligence agencies. That's what the mainstream media will never say, except for Fox, but it's already been proven. And so when you look at stuff like that, why did January 6th even happen? Just think about that. I don't know if you can talk about it on YouTube in depth. I'm just going to say this, 81 million votes is a lot. And you know who got 81 million votes. It's almost unbelievable. So I don't know, but it does seem like the more I get into this, I'm like, yo, this fool worked for Obama, y'all. He literally worked for Joe Biden already. Joe Biden gets in. Oh, you out. Interesting. Anyways, let's listen.
I'm doing great.
For being on the show. Let's get right to it. I wanted to remind our audience that you served under President Obama. He tapped you to lead the Immigration and Customs Enforcement's deportation branch in 2013. How does your role differ now between the Obama and the Trump administrations? How does it differ from what it was then to what it is now?
Well, look, under President Obama, I was the head of enforcement removal operations. When I was there, we oversaw the removal of just shy of 3 million illegal aliens. Now I'm the border czar under President Trump. I have a direct report to the president here. So I overlook what the president assigned me on this new role. I oversee border operations. I got 3 goals: secure the border, run a deportation operation, a massive deportation operation, and third, find missing children that were smuggled into the country. And the last administration lost track of them. We need to find these children because many of them will be in harm's way. Many aren't, but we need to find these children, make sure they're safe.
I mentioned that Donald Trump had appointed you as acting director of ICE.
Think about those 3 goals. Think about how people place Homan as the boogeyman, as an evil person. And it's just funny when you just hear the way he speaks, you're like, it's pretty hard not to get red pilled. Like his intentions are good, and I support him, man. I support him straight up. In this policy, with this administration, this is something that I support 100%. The immigration, I just do. It's funny too because I'm in the industry. I got a lot of rappers. They speaking out on this stuff and like, oh, blah blah blah. But look, man, from everything I've been seeing, I support this, and I think the majority of Americans do too. And that's not just white folks. You know what I mean? We want a safe country, and even when it's safe, we're paying the taxes, so I'm not trying to cushion, I want my taxes to go to the American people, the American citizens. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather my taxes go to a program that helps get, immigrants here the right way than I would just giving people freebies. That's just my personal take. But anyways, let's keep rolling.
2017, but you retired in 2018. What happened then, and why are you back now? Because you stepped away, but obviously you came back. You served over 30 years. I mean, you've given your service and what have you, and you could have retired and went out into the sunset, but you came back. Why did you feel compelled to do so? So please share that with my audience.
Well, it's the second time I came back out of retirement from President Trump. Didn't make my wife real happy, but how do you not come back? I mean, under the last 4 years, I wake up every day upset over the last 4 years because we had the most secure border in my lifetime. And I've done this since, as you said, 1984. It's the most secure border in my lifetime. The numbers proved it. And what the last administration did when they opened the border up, I knew every day when I woke up, more women and children are being sex trafficked across an open border. More Americans would die from fentanyl overdoses, poisonings because of an open border. Sex trafficking in women and children would increase on an open border. And more no-inspected terrorists and people on the watch list would get into the country through an open border. So, I was insulted that President Biden took the most secure border in my lifetime and unsecured it on purpose. And I mean that. Look, I worked for 6 presidents starting with Ronald Reagan. Every president I worked for, including Obama and Clinton, took steps to secure the border because they clearly understood you can't have national security if you don't have border security.
Is this vindicating me that maybe someone was a Manchurian candidate? I don't know, but damn, man. Listen to the words that are coming out of his mouth right now, y'all. Listen very closely.
President Biden is the first president in history of this nation who came in unsecured the border. So it upset me because I knew every day someone's going to die crossing that border. Women are going to be sexually assaulted crossing that border. So when President Trump called me, he asked me if I'd want to come back and help fix that border. I didn't hesitate. I came back because I think it's the right thing to do.
You've worked at obviously doing what you've done. It's spanned decades. So obviously one could easily surmise you have a lot of intel. You have a lot of access to information that the average American citizen may not know or what have you. Let me ask you this, and I don't mean to ask it politically, but I'm asking it this way. Have you received any kind of explanation as to why former President Biden literally went against what former President Barack Obama did during his presidency? And the numbers show he actually deported more immigrants out of this country than Trump did. Yet Biden comes into office in 2020 and he went completely against what Obama had done. You ever received intel explanation as to why he did that?
That's a great question. You're the first ones to ask me that question, right? Now, I surmise, I have an opinion that I think this administration thought these millions of people are going to be future Democratic voters. But one of the things Biden also did, in addition to destroying all the programs we put in place to give us the most secure border, he overturned the Trump census rule, which means millions of people they release in sanctuary cities will be counted in the next census, which is going to result in what? More seats in House for the damaged. So I truly believe they saw future political benefit from this. But you're exactly right. And I've said this. Why do I think he did it on purpose? Because Joe Biden was vice president under Barack Obama when he had those record removals. Alejandro Mayorkas was a deputy secretary under Obama when he had those removals. And we had families. We had thousands of families coming across the border every day. How did we stop it? We built family residential centers. We held them long enough to see a judge. 90% lost a case, 90%. So we put them in an airplane, sent them home, border numbers tanked. So both those men knew how we solved that crisis. So when they came back in, as now the secretary and the president, what did they do? The complete opposite. They didn't detain, they released. They didn't make them see a judge, and they weren't removing them. So they did the complete opposite of what they knew worked under President Obama.
Wow.
Y'all just took your daily dose of the red pill. And when I say that, I don't mean right-wing Republican, just the wake-up moment, right? Bro, I'm getting goosebumps, man. I'm getting goosebumps because when you start connecting the dots, think about that. Think about, why would you just think about this real quick. He was the vice president, Joe Biden, under Obama. And I want my right-wing people to tap in. Were you cool with Obama? With that border security? If one thing, I know you're probably against the drone strikes and against the this, the that, but Can we say that's cool? Like, that was the one cool thing? One of the cool things he did was like, hey, man, our border's secure. That's just wild to me that, like, I didn't even put that together. I just was like, damn, Biden's tripping. He opened the border up. I didn't even think about, like, yo, Obama, we had a secure border under Obama. Obama was the one who ended the NIH funding, too, to the Wuhan lab or some shit. Like, he stopped those programs. It's interesting, bro. Anyways, when you start connecting the dots, he literally worked under Barack Obama. So opening these floodgates, they didn't think there was going to be pushback. And then I'm just thinking of what's happened to our country. Like, you know, the people who've lost loved ones in our country because of, you know, some of the gang members and criminals that have come in illegally. Their lives are changed forever. And I get it. I hope some of my, like, so when I do these videos, a lot of people from outside of the country watch them. And it's really interesting because they don't understand the landscape of America, you know, and they want to put it in a box because Trump is back. But I'm telling you guys, this is one of the main reasons Trump is back. We'll see if he's going to be able to get that economy back too. But I mean, for this alone, like securing the borders, that's important. No matter what, America is facing some drama because of the bubble that's been built from quantitative easing and the spending deficits. So no matter what, it just depends. When's the bubble pop? When does the drama start? What administration? No matter what it's going to, because, you know, these spending habits that our government has are just, it is what it is. So, man. Anyways, eye-opening stuff. I actually watched the pejorative of this video. It's on Stephen A. Smith's channel. If you guys want to check it out, he's pretty much just being red-pilled by Homan the whole time. It's good. It's 25 minutes long. We only watched 5 minutes. The only reason I don't get into more of it because they start dropping the R word that rhymes with grape and stuff like that, which is fine because it's real. They're talking about border crisis stuff, but YouTube is not friendly to some of those words, so I'm going to dodge that, but y'all get the picture. I just thought the beginning part was very informative and important to show because, you know, this dude that people are pegging as the boogeyman, as this racist, like all this stuff, they like trying to throw him under the bus, and he's actually served our country for, you know, the 30 years doing all this, and this is under the Clintons and Obama, right? So it's just ironic that he's just, you know, people like he's a right wing, this, that, and the other when he's not. He's literally been rocking with the country for a minute. So let me know what I got, what I missed. I'll see y'all later, baby.
City boy, city boy.